Helping Heroes, a closer look at how local communities support the first responders who help us in an emergency.
Who do you call when you're in trouble? Police, fire, maybe your family, right? Who do firefighters call?
First responders experience tragedies on a daily basis, and those events can take a mental and physical toll.
And I talked with officials at one local department, which has drastically changed how it helps firefighters cope with the stress of the job. The sound of the alarm gets them moving, whether it's a fire, a traffic accident, a rescue or crime scene. First responders are dedicated to saving lives. In 2015, the Cranston Fire Department tells us they responded to nearly 15,000 calls just in the city, and 908 more in other communities. 9 firefighters suffered physical injuries. What they see and experience can also be life-changing.
You know, post-traumatic stress is it's not a new term, but it's probably new in the fire service.
Scott Robinson is a 17-year veteran and is familiar with PTSD. He was one of dozens of firefighters who fought the station nightclub fire in West Warwick on February 20th, 2003. He spent almost 8 hours at the scene. Robinson met his wife in the driveway when he got home the next morning.
I lost it. I started crying right there in the driveway. And then she said, "Oh, I'm sorry that you had to do that, but I have to go to work." I lost any type of resources. I was alone babysitting 2 kids for the rest of the day, and then I had to go back to work that night.
Robinson tells me he felt alone and developed a lot of anger. After 3 years, he and his wife sought counseling.
It was the first time that I actually talked about the fire itself and my role in that fire and what I experienced and what I saw. When I was done talking about that, the counselor was crying, my wife was crying, and then later, during those sessions, I realized that my wife never actually left me. She was there that day.
Every time there's an incident, we're there.
Deputy Fire Chief Michael Procopio has also endured emotional pain. In May 2008, he responded to a police standoff on Daisy Court in Cranston, a familiar place. Fellow firefighter James Pagano was hosting a birthday party for his son when he was shot after a dispute with his neighbor, Nicholas Gianquitti.
And I looked down, Jimmy was gray, and he was still talking. He told me, he said, "Help me."
Procopio couldn't. Pagano died at the hospital.
That was a difficult situation for me.
So your own personal life kind of intertwines with what you're doing here on the job.
Absolutely. When if we show up to a call, it's very possible that that I'm able to see my own family in that call.
Seeing that firefighters needed somewhere to turn, Robinson helped initiate a behavioral health wellness program several years ago in Cranston, helping firefighters cope with the impact of these traumatic situations.
When you experience a traumatic event, not all the pieces chronologically add up, and your mind kind of takes bits and pieces and puts them in their own order. And through the counseling, I was able to find that, put that order back in, and that got rid of a lot of my anger.
Now, coming up new at 6, an in-depth look at the health wellness program the Cranston Fire Department has developed to help firefighters cope with these traumatic situations. New details in a story you saw only on Eyewitness News, Helping Heroes.
At 5, we showed you the traumatic experiences some local firefighters have endured on the job.
New at 6, I go to one local department for an in-depth look at a program they've developed to help firefighters cope with these events and get back to saving lives.
Let's face it, when the firefighter is reaching out for help, he or she's already in crisis.
No matter the call, what first responders see takes a toll. Private Scott Robinson, a 17-year veteran of the Cranston Fire Department, says his own personal struggles in the aftermath of the station nightclub fire motivated him to assist other firefighters to get help. An important task that's not always easy.
Yeah, I think there's a stigma attached to it, and I think our international is really making a push toward getting rid of that stigma.
Robinson tells me that he designed a behavioral health wellness program seeking out clinical help and resources. The program includes meeting with struggling firefighters to talk about their issues, providing them the resources for substance or alcohol abuse with inpatient and outpatient programs, family services, and divorce and financial mediation.
It's available It's easy to come by, and it's confidential.
Deputy Fire Chief Michael Procopio responded to the scene when friend and fellow firefighter James Pagano was shot and killed by a neighbor. The chief tells me he was lucky to have the peer support program.
Did you seek help right away, or did you wait?
Right away. We had people come in right after the incident.
That's what you're kind of encouraging with this whole program, for your firefighters to seek help immediately, right?
Absolutely. When you have that help quickly, it helps to allay some of the problems that you might have down the line. It gives them indicators to look for, and it helps them to decompress from the whole situation.
Dr. Kathleen Carty says talking with health professionals is essential.
What I found that in the beginning, when Scott and the others were working on this, there was some reluctance to come in.
Is that common, that first responders will block a traumatic situation out for a long period of time?
Absolutely. It's a little, the way the mind can work is that they needed to be so hyper-focused on a particular thing that they were doing.
Dr. Carty says she wants to see firefighters within 48 hours of a traumatic experience.
The goal is always to be able to have them be able to do their job, but also to be whole human beings, not just to be able to do their job and then kind of crash at the end of their shift.
Robinson now travels the country to pitch the peer support program through the International Association of Firefighters, helping brother firefighters get the help they need.
You're not alone. What we're experiencing in the field and what we take back to the station, what we take back home, is normal. They're normal reactions to abnormal events, and there's resources out there to understand those reactions.
Robinson says they're willing to offer help to any police, fire, or correctional officer. And now, currently, Cranston, Providence, and North Providence have joined forces in the peer support program.